Hey guys, I'm Damesies. Welcome to the Omnic recap. It is that time of the year again, where that one uncle gets extremely drunk, gives a speech that ends in him mumbling about his ex-wife, and he sits down on the plate of appetizers. The holidays. It traditionally is also the time that we both look back and forward. I'm keeping the forward part for next week's video. In that video, we're going to try and figure out what Blizzard might and might not do in 2023. So make sure to subscribe. This week, however, I want to take a few minutes of your time while you're probably visiting family and decided to whip out your phone because that now hungover uncle just spiced his coffee and you know what is going to happen next. By the way, before we continue, put your own plate somewhere safe. He's bound to sit down somewhere. Anyways, I want to look back at these last 12 months in Overwatch, and it is a task that I'm slightly dreading. See, I started this year out very enthusiastically, hopeful even, thinking that 2020 might be the year that Overwatch rises to the top again, but it turned out rather differently. It all actually started before we kicked off 2022, at the end of December, when they brought in a lot of the content creators for a secret summit. And all of these content creators came out extremely enthusiastic. The tweets that these people send out after that summit just make me hopeful. I actually wonder how much of that enthusiasm still remains. I mean, I don't blame them for being enthusiastic about what they got to see at that summit. It most likely was. I would have probably been excited too. It got all of us worked up. But then came the Lunar New Year. Remember that? When it launched on January 25th, we all kinda noticed that there were only 2 legendary skins, where there usually are 5. And apart from those skins and 3 epics, that was about it for that event. It was just a repeat of the event we saw last year, well in 2021. People got upset and Blizzard responded. They stated that they understood our disappointment, but that the team was working on new skins, and that we would see more skins in 2022 than we've seen any year before. And technically, they were right. And as upset as we were about that Lunar New Year event, little did we know that it was going to get even worse. What follows was a series of remix events. They replaced every seasonal event with the anniversary event in the sense that you could get any of the skins and you could play all of the brawls, which is nice. And they spiced things up with some remix skins, which were recolors, and some of those were extremely nice, but still, it wasn't the same thing. But you know, we kept our heads high. The promises were made, the beta was going to start soon according to rumors, it was going to be all worth it in the end, right? Now in April we got that first beta, our first taste of 5 vs 5. And you know, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I know that some people still miss 6 vs 6, but I really don't. I had a hard time getting back to Overwatch 1 when that beta ended, really hard. And you know, and up to this day I still enjoy Overwatch a lot. I mean sure, there have been balancing issues, but I don't know if you guys remember that, but at the start of Overwatch 1, we had balancing issues. And they were just as bad. They need time to figure this out, and they keep adding new heroes, new people coming in. It's not easy. But anyways, back to 2022. Now right before the second beta for Overwatch 2, they announced that Overwatch 2 was going to be released in October 2022, but that the PvE was pushed back to 2023, so that they were going to release them separately. PvP in October as early access, and PvE 2023. Hopefully. Now that early access thing is something that we, and me included, tend to forget. But don't worry, even Blizzard tends to forget that it is early access. They have removed references to the game being early access everywhere. Why? Well, because they want to monetize it as a full game. And for clarity and probably legal reasons. But practically, it is still early access. A lot of features that they promised us are still missing. And I'm not even talking about PvE. Those weapon inspection animations that they showed off in the first trailer. Not there. The clan system. Decent event rewards. There's a lot of stuff. But we didn't know that all of this was going to be missing till the game released in October. And by then we had had enough of these remix events. We had played those brawls enough for at least a few lifetimes. And we were ready to jump into the future. And boy, those first days and months were interesting. Well, apart from the technical issues. You know, it was a mix of enthusiasm and disappointment. Optimism and pessimism. We went through all of it, like a roller coaster ride. The best way to kind of explain it is that Blizzard showed the potential, but they didn't put it all out there. And they charged way too much for what they put out there. It's kind of like a fruit vendor that has a basket of old fruit and 3 of the most delicious tasting apples. That's the only thing he has. And while the old fruit is for free, he is charging $100 for each of these really tasty apples. Now come to think of it, that comparison works even better than I thought. See, very few people can spend that $100 on one of those apples. But in the end, the vendor, aka Blizzard, only needs to find 3 people that will buy those apples, and he's set. He doesn't care about that old fruit at all. But apart from him being safe financially, he's leaving hundreds of people very disappointed with his fruit stand. His reputation is busted. Because that old fruit that he was giving away turned out to be onions. And in the end, it's going to catch up with Blizzard. Most likely not financially. I think they're doing pretty good. But right now, the interest in Overwatch is extremely low. We as content creators are always the first to notice that. See, all of these content platforms do not care on how beautiful your pictures are, or how well edited your videos are, how funny you might be, how low your voice really sounds. They just want to present people with what they're looking for. Makes sense. But when people start caring about the topic that we are talking about, we notice. As I've said multiple times before, they were not ready to release. That's why they announced it as early access. Their machine is not operating at full capacity. And they definitely made some weird choices, especially in the monetization. But the game had been postponed several times. The community, all of us, were getting restless. The team was desperate to show off their work. They were split up between Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2. They needed to start generating income instead of just spending a lot of money. What I'm trying to get at is, I do understand why they released it in October. Would I have done things differently? Yeah, probably. The thing I would have changed is the communication. The circumstances can be whatever they are. You can be left no choice. But communication is something that you always have control over. If they can't get that right, we're going to keep getting upset. And I know that they're trying, it's just not working. I do want to say that it seems like it's improving with some of the new people that came in. But every time I've said that in the past, they end up disappointing me again. So I'm not going to say it, but I actually did kind of say it. Well, anyways, the thing is, of course, that they went through a huge shift in leadership. Some of the key figures left, and they were replaced with completely new people. Or partly new people. And on top of that, Blizzard did this whole reorganization, which reshuffled the whole team's management. Walter Kong is now the general manager for Overwatch, which tells me that he's basically in control. There's a new executive producer, which is an important role, a new lead hero designer, and we'll need to wait and see how that kind of all settles, how that is going to turn out. But I'm genuinely convinced that the team has the best of intentions. And when I say the team, I'm talking about the developers, the designers, the artists. Those people love this game, and they want the game to shine. Now, the money people, they have different goals. They basically have a different job. And some of them would definitely throw Overwatch under the bus if that would benefit the financial situation of this whole story. And while we might not like hearing that, in some cases that is just part of the job. It is the call that you sometimes need to make. But other times, it's greed. And in this case, we really don't know. But as I said, if they would be talking to us more, better, we would be less upset. Because like in any relationship, and this is a relationship, trust me. Not for the casual players that pick up Overwatch once or twice a week. But for all of you that are extremely passionate about this game, we have a relationship with Blizzard. And in a relationship, communication is extremely important. You can tell us that you love us as much as you want. But if you don't communicate, if you don't talk to us, it means nothing. Alright. Now I'm really starting to sound like one of my ex-girlfriends. Let's move on. No, but seriously, I hope that this is what Blizzard takes along for 2023. Talk to us. Thank you. Now tell me, how do you look back at the past year? Let me know in the comments. Oh, and in case you are celebrating, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. For now, however, that was it. See you during my streams on twitch.tv/DamesysTV or in my next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.